So I'm pondering tonight on isolation and loneliness and the culmination of both, which can be challenging for many, and a lot of people are trying to get through this situation at the moment, you know. And there's so many people that can fall victim to the trap of a victim mentality, and not to judge anybody or throw shade or make anybody feel kind of way, because I've been that person. I've been exactly that person too. I've had that feeling, you know, and I carried that from childhood with my experiences, you know, and being with an emotionally unavailable single mother, you know, who was more interested in men, and being alone there and getting taken into care as a child, you know, and in not doing too well in school because I didn't go to school in the end, you know, and I'm going to work. Yeah, 11 years old working. Imagine that stupidity at its fine as it is. And, you know, in children's homes and in prison very early, and then coming out and being really misunderstood, you know. I've had a lot of challenges, and I'm coming up to 40, you know, almost there. And not that I'm wishing life away by saying that. I'm just letting you know my age and my culmination of experiences that led me up to, you know, kind of speaking this way and be able to hold the tone that I do when I talk about these subjects and how I refer to things and how I understand it, you know. Though isolation and loneliness come hand in hand, and it doesn't get any easier as you get older. Especially if you're somebody like myself who feels alone, has been alone and has been isolated and can be misunderstood for that reason, and then you come to the point where you like myself and you choose to just be alone because it feels easier almost, you know. And I'll say this in this, it might be a trigger warning for some, I say, though it's not a matter to take lightly, and also it's not a matter to ruminate on, but it doesn't get any easier. And a loneliness affects every single person on this planet, despite whether they're on their own or they're in a room full of people. And this is a daunting fact for most of us, and the reason for this feeling is because we all are here living individual experiences. We're all separate bodies from each other. We can say we're souls and we're connected through contracts and all this kind of get up, but the reality and the truth of it all is that we are living individual experiences. Our lives are very different, and we all handle challenges and situations very, very differently because of our neurological pathways are wired very differently, because of a culmination of experience from childhood and birth to the moment we meet each other and leave each other in whatever circumstance, or to when you're experiencing me now on whatever screen or device you're seeing me on. Loneliness is something that gets easier to manage, and especially if you're not in an equal partnership. This doesn't fit for everybody, by the way, because there are some, quite a few, and quite a lot of people, many people, that are not lonely because they have partners and they have relationships and they have good, healthy dynamics and strong bonds in their relationships and families, and kudos to those. That's a really beautiful thing to have, and I hope that their experience of that they're able to share with others still continuously and show that it is possible for others, and it continues to allow others to have some hope and the potential for growth for their own situations, to be in one like that themselves, you know, because it's never too late. And we've all been in a room where someone's used that word, that saying, you know, it's never too late for this and never too late, because it's not. And life is a learning curve, and we're always learning, and it can be very lonely and challenging, especially if you're living in your own head rent free, you know. And but the way I combat this is by trying to remain present. I accept that we have those down days. I accept that a life isn't always fantastic rose petals and wax melts and candles and a whimsical way of being and seeing, because sometimes life gets dark and challenging and you need to keep the curtains shut and you don't want to talk to the world and you need a break, you know. And even myself, I've had points where even during my best times and seemingly to others, I've really struggled in the background, because despite me being strong enough to handle challenges, though they're not easy to handle, and I do sometimes fall victim to the trap of being hurt by things, you know, and I deal with them my way. I'm a creative, so I'll use art, I'll use writing, and then sometimes if life get really heavy, even as a man, I'll have a little cry, you know. And that kind of it stops me from really projecting onto someone else, because that's not healthy for anyone to do. So this is why I always speak on projection and expression and understanding the two, and what that means for you and how you can get through that, you know. And it's by expressing, and no matter how you do it, how big of a platform you've got, use social media, use any example you can to be able to express yourself healthily. Do it in a place where it's safe, and do it where nobody gets harmed. So we're talking, it could be art form, it can be speaking, it can be singing, writing, dancing, exercising, hobbies that are healthy, you know, walking, all these different things you can do. You can have there's so many things. We can group up so many different ways of processing these things that are healthy. So when life gets tough and it gets hard on you, just remember you aren't alone, because I've spoken just in the past week to about three people, I'd say. I'd never mention anybody's name or anything, but 3 separate people, and they've all felt this experience, and so many do too, and they look to others for a bit of guidance and a bit of understanding how you can process and get through things, and understand different ways, and they look to different guides and teachers and coaches and examples of how to get through it, YouTube videos and all sorts, you know. And for me, it's about understanding yourself and taking care of you at times, and try not to compare to others, because comparison is the thief of joy, and it will take your happiness away if you stay in it. So introspection is healthy and rumination is not. Introspection is when you process, when you think about something, take a step back for you and you process it, and then you express it cleanly and healthfully. And you can do it creatively. Any which way you express yourself is a good way. And you know, a rumination is a projection, rather, where you could ruminate and really sit with a feeling and fester on it and allow it to go around and not process it in a healthy way and use a projection. I'm sorry I used that word there, it's because of a previous video was coming to mind, but yeah, so when you ruminate, it's really festering, seething inside, boiling up feelings, suppression and feelings of angst, you know, and high rate emotions. That's not good. Those are the times you really need to release, and you need to do it healthily. And if you allow that to build up, we'll use the Coke bottle as an example. If you have a Coca-Cola bottle, you know, everyone knows you shake one up proper. Eventually, regardless of how tight and factory sealed that lid is, it's gonna pop, you know, and that's the same as you. But if you're a Coke bottle and you shake it a little bit and you let a little bit of gas out at a time, it will not explode when you do open it fully, you know. So do that for you. So find little things to do and start off small. It doesn't have to be major, doesn't have to be fantastic, you know, cataclysmic events to really change your mind in one day and change your whole life's events, because it doesn't work like that. It's just ways for you to manage and get through an experience and understand that is a process for it. And it's okay to not always be okay, you know, because we're not at the end of the day. Nobody is, especially when you come of a certain age and you've had a many of experiences, and despite how old you get in life, there are going to be days when you don't feel okay. It can either be your health-wise or just things happen in life. Life be lifing, as we say, you know, and it's important to remember that and to support others through it when they're having challenging times, especially if they're not turning to anything toxic or negative or super pessimistic about it. Try and lift others' spirits by showing them that isolation is okay, loneliness does happen, and that you're not actually alone despite you feeling like that. And you walking alone is okay because we're all doing it too. So we resonate with each other, we share and we support and we uplift, and we don't hold anybody else down and hold people captive and make them feel like a victim of circumstance because they've been down for a little bit. Because everybody can come up, you know, regardless. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how high you bounce back up from it, you know. I saw a reel earlier one that said, I think he's a motivational guy, he was a reel on Instagram, and he went, the rock bottom ain't actually a floor, it's a trampoline for you to bounce back up. I like that. I don't know the content creator's name, I'll try and plug him at some point, but he's cool, he had a hood up, he's on Instagram, cool looking dude. But just remember that, you know, support each other, you're not alone, and share and express yourself when you can. Isolation is imminent when it comes to feeling lonely. To process a feeling and emotion, you will get through it, and you don't always have to stay there, and your paths are not always adjacent to everybody else's. No two paths are linear and exactly the same because we're all on different timelines, as they say, you know. And just know that life can get lonely, and life is pretty lonely, but you get better at managing it as time. You better at managing it, rather, should I say, as time goes on, and you meet people along the way that will help you process these things too. So always make sure you're taking care of you, all right? And I'm always here and that, and I walk alone for that reason, and I will always support another, you know, to the point, unless it's to my detriment nowadays, because I've been there too where it's been to my detriment. So, but I do my best to support as many as I can because I know the feeling, and it's not always nice, you know. And so if you're feeling isolated and you're feeling lonely, just know that you're not alone. There are people there, there is support available from multiple channels, and there's anonymous places you can go for help too. If you'd like to know anything more about people like that and services that can help you, and also others that may be able to help you get through things, or you just need someone to talk to from time to time and have a little vent in the comments or whatever, jump on here. And my place is a safe space, and this is Craig's Corner, and I'm Craig. And if you haven't already, give me a like and a share, and always drop in the comments, like I said, anything you wanna say, get off your mind, and if you found this helpful and you found it useful, and consider subscribing so you get to see me again in your algorithm, and it pushes my channel further, and I get to reach more people with my talks and stuff like that, and I can help you understand how I got through my situations, and because I've had some trials and tribulations along the way, should we say, you know. And also I'm a poet, if you didn't know it. You can tell by my words and the way I speak, and links are in the bio for the poetry books, all on Amazon. And but yeah, this is Craig's Corner. I'm Craig Collins. The handle's at Craig Collins 1111. And just remember, you're not alone, and this is a safe space, all right? You're always welcome here, and I hope you're doing all right, regardless of where you are and whatever position in life, all right? Take care of yourselves.